Snacking seems harmless, but did you know some habits can secretly spike your blood sugar levels? It's a common concern that needs attention. In this video, we'll uncover 6 surprising snacking pitfalls and how to enjoy healthier choices that keep your blood sugar steady. Top 6 snacking habits that sabotage blood sugar. Number 1, ignoring carbohydrate content. All right, let's talk about the first habit. Number 1, ignoring carbohydrate content. So, carbohydrates are a key nutrient that our bodies turn into glucose, and that's what makes our blood sugar levels go up. It's interesting, a lot of people, when they're picking out snacks, they might look at calories or fat, but they often forget to check the carbohydrate info. This little oversight can actually lead to some surprising blood sugar spikes and make things tougher to manage. Really understanding how carbs affect us is the first step to picking better snacks. Now, not all carbs are created equal. They affect our blood glucose at different speeds. You've got simple carbohydrates, think sugary snacks, fruit juices, and those refined grains. They get digested super fast, causing a quick jump in blood sugar. Then there are complex carbohydrates, which you find in whole grains, legumes, and veggies. These are digested more slowly, so you get a more gentle rise in blood sugar. Knowing these differences is really helpful for choosing snacks that keep your blood sugar steady. And you might be surprised, but a lot of popular snacks are packed with carbohydrates and can send your blood sugar soaring if you're not careful. We're talking about things like potato chips, pretzels, crackers from white flour, sweetened yogurts, granola bars, and even large amounts of some fruits. These can all add a lot to your carb intake. Plus, those sneaky hidden carbs in processed foods or things that seem healthy can also be tricky, which is why reading labels is so important. So, how can you manage your carb intake better? Well, getting familiar with food labels and trying out carbohydrate counting is a great start. Make sure to look at the total carbohydrate value and always check the serving size. If you're on insulin, it's really vital to match your carb intake with your insulin dose. And hey, using measuring cups or a food scale can be a real lifesaver to make sure you're eating the right portions and not accidentally eating too many carbs. The good news is there are plenty of tasty snack options that have a lower impact on your blood sugar. Think about grabbing a handful of nuts, like almonds or walnuts, or some seeds like chia, flax, or pumpkin. Hard-boiled eggs, cheese sticks, plain unsweetened Greek yogurt are also great. Or how about some veggies like bell pepper strips, cucumber slices, or celery sticks with a bit of hummus or nut butter. These snacks give you good nutrients and energy without making your blood sugar go on a roller coaster, so they're much smarter choices if you're managing diabetes. Number 2, late-night snacking without planning. Moving on to our second point. Number 2, late-night snacking without planning. Now, eating late at night isn't automatically a bad thing if you have diabetes. But if you're not planning your snacks or making poor choices before bed, you could wake up with high blood sugar. What you eat in the evening and when you eat it can really affect your fasting glucose. That's why being mindful about late-night snacks is so important for good blood sugar management. You see, your body's metabolism and how sensitive it is to insulin can change during the day, and it's often a bit lower in the evening. This means that if you eat the exact same snack late at night, it could cause a bigger and longer-lasting spike in your blood sugar than if you ate it earlier. It's just how our bodies work, and it really shows why we need to be careful about what and how much we eat before heading to bed. And if you're having snacks that are high in carbs or unhealthy fats right before you sleep, that can really mess with your fasting blood sugar. As your body works on these foods overnight, the glucose that's released can mean higher numbers when you wake up. This is a particular issue for people who don't make enough insulin or are insulin resistant, because that glucose just hangs around in the bloodstream for longer. It's also worth noting there's a strong link between how well you sleep and your blood sugar control. If you're not sleeping well, it can make you more insulin resistant and mess with the hormones that control your appetite. This can lead to cravings for not so healthy, high-carb foods. And on the flip side, if your blood sugar is all over the place at night, too low or too high, it can disrupt your sleep. So, choosing your night snacks carefully can actually help you sleep better, which in turn helps with your glucose regulation. So, what can you do to satisfy those evening munchies without wrecking your blood sugar? Try going for small snacks that are rich in protein or high in fiber. Some good ideas are a small handful of unsalted nuts, a piece of low-fat cheese, a hard-boiled egg, or a little bit of plain Greek yogurt. If you feel like you need something a bit more filling, how about a small portion of non-starchy veggies? Planning these snacks ahead of time can stop you from making those impulsive, less healthy choices and help keep your morning blood sugar nice and stable. Number 3, snacking on foods low in dietary fiber. Let's move on to habit number 3. Number 3, snacking on foods low in dietary fiber. Dietary fiber is a real hero when it comes to managing blood sugar. Research actually shows that snacks high in fiber can really help control those after-meal glucose levels. And get this, these good effects can even help improve your fasting glucose the next morning. That just shows how long-lasting fiber's impact can be. So, making fiber a priority in your snacks is a really smart move if you're looking for better glucose control. So how does it work? Well, fiber, especially the soluble kind, slows down how quickly your body digests and absorbs carbohydrates. When you eat a snack that's packed with fiber, the glucose from the carbs enters your bloodstream much more slowly. This helps to avoid those sharp spikes in blood sugar that you can get from high-carb, low-fiber foods, and it leads to a much smoother and more manageable glucose level. Unfortunately, a lot of the snacks we often reach for are seriously lacking in dietary fiber. Think about processed snacks like cookies, cakes, most crackers, chips, and sugary cereals. They usually have very little, if any, fiber. And even some things that seem healthier, like certain fruit juices or granola bars made with refined grains, can be low in fiber but high in simple carbs. That makes them not so great for keeping blood sugar in check. And the great thing about fiber-rich snacks is that their benefits aren't just instant. They can have a lasting effect on your glucose regulation. Eating fiber at one meal or snack can actually change how your body responds to your next meals. There's something called the second meal effect, which means if you have a high-fiber snack in the evening, it can lead to a lower glucose response not just after that snack, but even after your breakfast the next day. That really helps with overall glycemic stability. It's actually quite easy and tasty to get more fiber into your snacks. Try opting for whole fruits instead of juices, pick whole grain crackers instead of the refined ones, and bring more nuts, seeds, and legumes into your snack lineup. Veggies like carrots, celery, and broccoli with some hummus are fantastic high-fiber choices. And here's a tip. Adding a tablespoon of chia seeds or flax seeds to your yogurt or smoothie can give your fiber intake a really good boost. Number 4, consuming excessive added sugars. Next up, we have habit number 4. Number 4, consuming excessive added sugars. Now, it's interesting. Studies show that people with diabetes, whether their condition is well controlled or not, actually tend to eat less added sugar from snacks than people without diabetes. However, the fact that added sugars are still in so many snack foods is definitely something to be aware of. These sugars are basically empty calories, and they can directly push your blood glucose levels up, making diabetes management trickier. And these added sugars can be quite sneaky. They're often hidden in a lot of common snack foods, where you wouldn't even think to look. Of course, you've got the obvious ones like candies, cookies, and sodas. But added sugars can also be found in things like flavored yogurts, many breakfast cereals, granola bars, ketchup, salad dressings, and even some breads and crackers. That's why it's so important to become a bit of a detective and read those ingredient lists carefully to spot these hidden sugars. Keep an eye out for words like sucrose, high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, and fruit juice concentrates. What about sugar substitutes or artificial sweeteners? Well, their role in managing blood glucose is still something experts are talking about. While they don't directly raise your blood sugar like regular sugar does, we're still learning about how they affect our gut health, insulin sensitivity, and overall metabolism. Some people find that certain sweeteners can trigger cravings or affect their digestion. So, the general advice is to use them sparingly and really focus on eating whole, unprocessed foods. Eating a lot of added sugars is definitely linked to worse outcomes in diabetes management. We're talking about higher A1C levels, more ups and downs in blood glucose, and a greater risk of complications related to diabetes. So, cutting down on added sugar is a really key part of any diet aimed at improving blood sugar control and overall health. And this isn't just about avoiding obvious sugary treats. It's also about being really watchful for the sugar content in processed and packaged foods. If you're looking to cut down on sugar cravings and how much sugar you eat overall, try focusing on whole foods that are packed with nutrients and offer natural sweetness, like fruits, but in moderation, of course. Make sure your meals and snacks have a good balance of protein and fiber, as these can help keep your blood sugar stable and reduce those cravings. Another good tip is to gradually reduce the amount of sugar you add to your food and drinks. Your taste buds will adjust over time. And don't forget, staying well hydrated and managing stress can also help control the urge for sugary snacks. Number 5, inconsistent snacking patterns. Okay, let's look at habit number 5. Number 5, inconsistent snacking patterns. When and how regularly you snack can really affect how stable your blood glucose is. If your snacking schedule is all over the place, or if you skip snacks that you've planned for, especially if your medication or activity level needs them, it can lead to unpredictable blood sugar swings. This makes it much tougher to get that consistent control. So, setting up a more regular snacking pattern that's tailored just for you can be really helpful. You see, the timing of your snacks, especially in relation to your meals, medication, and any physical activity, is super important for how they impact your blood glucose. For instance, a snack at the right time can help prevent low blood sugar or hypoglycemia, especially if you're on certain diabetes medications or doing some strenuous exercise. But on the other hand, snacking when you don't really need to, or too close to your meals, can actually lead to high blood sugar or hyperglycemia. It's interesting. There was a time when many people believed that if you had diabetes, you needed to eat lots of small meals and snacks all day long to keep your blood sugar in check. But what we understand now is that this isn't really a one-size-fits-all solution. For a lot of people, particularly those who aren't on medications that can cause low blood sugar, just having 3 balanced meals a day might be perfectly fine. In those cases, snacks would be used more strategically rather than just being a routine thing. Everyone's snacking needs are different, and they can vary a lot based on things like the type of diabetes medication you're taking. For example, insulin or sulfonylureas can increase the risk of low blood sugar. Your daily activity levels, your meal schedules, and how your body personally responds to glucose also play a big role. What works great for one person might not work at all for someone else, which really underlines why a personalized approach to snacking is so important. So, how do you create a snacking schedule that's right for you? The best way is to work with your healthcare provider or a registered dietitian. They can help you look at your medication plan, your activity habits, and your blood glucose records to figure out if you need snacks, when you should have them, and what kinds of snacks would be best. This could mean planning snacks around your exercise, having one before bed if you tend to get low blood sugar at night, or using them to fill in long gaps between meals. Number 6, mindless eating and portion distortion. And finally, let's talk about habit number 6. Number 6, mindless eating and portion distortion. You know when you're snacking without really paying attention? That's often called mindless eating, and it can easily lead to eating too much, which then has a big impact on your blood glucose levels. If you're eating while you're distracted by the TV, work, or your phone, you're much less likely to notice when you're getting full or even realize how much you've actually eaten. This is a habit that can really undermine your efforts to manage your blood sugar. Eating while you're distracted doesn't just mean you eat more. It can also affect the kinds of foods you choose. You might find yourself reaching for less healthy, easy-to-grab snacks. When your brain isn't really focused on eating, it's tougher to make thoughtful decisions about what you're putting in your body and how much. This can lead to accidental blood sugar spikes because you've taken in too many calories and carbs without realizing it. Plus, let's face it, portion sizes for snack foods have gotten bigger over the years, and it's really easy to mess up when you're serving yourself, especially from those big packages that have multiple servings. Eating even a little bit more than you meant to can add up to a lot more carbohydrates and calories, which will directly hit your blood glucose. So, things like using smaller plates, portioning out your snacks beforehand, and always reading labels for serving size info are really key. This brings us to mindful eating. This is all about paying full attention when you eat, really noticing the taste, texture, and smell of your food, and also listening to your body's signals for hunger and fullness. Research actually shows that mindful eating can help you make better food choices, eat less overall, and even improve your glucose control. It helps you to really enjoy your food and know when you're actually satisfied, which stops you from eating extra calories you don't need. So, for some practical tips on portion control, try buying snacks in single-serving packages if you can. Or, if you buy bigger packages, divide them into individual portions as soon as you bring them home. It's also a good idea to measure out your snacks instead of just eating straight from the bag or box. And when you're eating out or picking up prepackaged snacks, always check that nutrition label for the serving size and how many servings are in the whole container. These simple little tricks can make a huge difference in managing how much you eat and keeping your blood sugar on track. Understanding individual differences. Now, it's really important to understand that how snacking affects blood sugar can be very different from person to person, especially when you compare someone with diabetes to someone without. Research has shown these differences, and it really drives home the point that a personalized approach to snacking is absolutely key for managing diabetes well and for your overall health. For people with diabetes, the body just doesn't regulate blood glucose as well as it should. Because of this, the type of snack, how much you eat, and when you eat, it can have a much bigger and quicker impact on blood sugar levels than it would for someone without diabetes, whose body can handle those glucose changes more easily. This difference really highlights why general snacking advice might not be the best fit for everyone. Figuring out what your own body can handle when it comes to different snacks takes a bit of self-monitoring and trying things out, and it's best to do this with guidance from your healthcare team. Really pay attention to how different foods affect you. A snack that barely moves the needle for one person might send another person's blood sugar soaring. This can be due to all sorts of differences, like metabolism, insulin sensitivity, medications, and even the bacteria in your gut. And this is where regular blood glucose monitoring becomes such an essential tool. Checking your blood sugar before and after you try a new snack, say about 1 to 2 hours after eating it, can give you incredibly valuable clues about how your body is reacting to specific foods and portion sizes. This information helps you pinpoint which snacks are problem snacks that cause big swings in your glucose, and which ones are safe snacks that fit nicely into your management plan. This way, you can make really informed, personalized choices. So, to wrap things up, being aware of these 6 common snacking habits can really help you keep your blood sugar levels stable. It's so important to remember that everyone responds differently to foods and eating patterns, which is why a personalized approach is absolutely essential. With some good strategic planning and a bit more awareness, snacking can definitely be a healthy and enjoyable part of your lifestyle, all while supporting the best possible blood glucose management. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these tricky snacking habits in your own routine? Feel free to share your experiences in the comments below. And if you'd like more practical tips for managing diabetes, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. You can also follow us on social media for daily ideas for blood sugar-friendly snacks.